Hey, everybody, it's another Monday. Oh my God, it's another Monday. Welcome back. Live chats here with Kim. I have got my newly adopted business bro, younger, actually, Scott, I know you're listening. Hell, I'm like old enough to be your mother, but I'm going to adopt you. I'm going to adopt you as my cool younger bro business. You're just this amazing young man. He's just an amazing guest. Sit tight, everybody. I'll bring Scott out here in a minute. We're broadcasting live at yet again at boldradiostation.com. Please join us. If you can't be here in this moment, take a deep breath. We record the shows. They are turned into podcasts. You can listen to them later on at a later date if need be it. But big shout out to the Bold Radio Station team. Big shout out to my partner, Lynn Brunette, the team. We've got Nesha Damian, the producers. We've got Inga, Director of Operations. I'm going to tell you, this team was one hell of a rockin' team. And I don't just say that. I truly, truly mean it. Because if it wasn't true, I wouldn't be saying it. These guys work their asses off to get these shows up and out the door for all of our hosts. And so a big shout out to them. Yay. Big, huge cyber hug to them all. So anyways, Scott Doucet. Oh, my baby brother. Scott, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. And I got to say, I should shout out to your team too, because live radio it's got a lot of challenges, man. So the fact that you've got a team that can pull it off, kudos to them, props to them.
Yeah, they're thank you, Scott, for you know what, I think you're one of the very first guests I've ever come on that really understands that, grasps that, swallows that, and embraces that, because it is, I mean, live radio, live radio can be challenging, and we've got some really seasoned peeps down here. My producer today, Nesha, has been in the production industry for, probably about 20 years, and very gifted, very talented. Damian, our other producer, in the production business. And these guys are musicians. I mean, these guys are in Nesha's no longer in bands. I think he does music on the side as a hobby and things like that over in Serbia, but Damian is in a band and they travel. I mean, they're pretty well known over there in Europe. It's really cool. I mean, it's really neat, and they're just gifted. So thanks for saying that. So, Scott.
Yeah.
I'm rubbing my hands together.
Yeah, because I told you I didn't want you to read a bio. I didn't even send you one, really.
I'm not reading.
That was good. I told you. I was like, you know what, Kim? I love your show. And I do. That I'm not just blowing smoke. I adore your show. But the most boring part was listening to you read back bios written by your guests, because they could say it better. And it made no sense to me, you know?
So with that note, tell me about yourself, Scott, because hold on, Scott. This is going to be fun today. Scott is a very seasoned, awesome podcast host. So now we've got two hosts here on the microphone. We're going to have the battle of the microphone. So go ahead. Please tell everybody who Scott is.
How far back you want me to go? Like first job in radio, or like just the last couple of years since I've started doing business for myself?
I want you to start with the first job in radio, because you got an amazing radio voice.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, well, when I was 15 years old, I got my first job on the radio, actually. And that was my first experience with broadcasting. Mind you, I was a teenager, so I didn't really take it seriously too much, but I learned a lot in that time. But then after that, I moved across the country, ended up homeless for a bit in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm originally from New Brunswick, Canada, right? So I moved across the country and ended up homeless for a while and dropped out of school. Couldn't complete school, lost a job, had to couch surf with just strangers, people I just met, in order to allow me to survive. So June comes along and I realized that I screwed up really bad. I call my mom, ask her for a bailout. She flies me home. And that was the weirdest time in my life, trying to tell my mom that I screwed up really bad. She knew it. But
wait a minute, I mean, you're 15, right?
At this time, like I was 15 years old. When I was 16, I moved across the country. I followed a girl, which was stupid, but you know what it is when you're in love, right? Young love, you'll do anything. You will do anything when you're in love with a person, and I truly believe that, right? And I'm still that way. So I'm just really careful about who I fall in love with now. But so I followed this girl out there, and things did not go wrong, and I could not foresee that, hindsight being what it was. That was really dumb. But back then, I just didn't pay attention to that stuff. And so I ended up coming home. I was 17 when I came back home, and I had to re-enroll into high school. And that to me felt like my first really big failure was I dropped out of school. And I'm a smart guy. I was falling asleep in class and getting 90s. So for me to fail did not sit well with me. So I went back, I took a full course load of just all kinds of like audio visual courses, business, economics, entrepreneurship, business organization and management, mathematics, accounting. Like I knew I was an entrepreneur right from the get-go. Like I knew that since I was 15. I started my first company when I was 13 years old. It was a skateboard company. It flopped because I had no money management skills. And I'm still struggling with that today. But I'm getting better. But no, after that, I got thrown into leadership positions. I took jobs just at retail establishments, sales establishments, and I kept getting in the bottom. And within half a year, I was always thrown to the top of these jobs, either supervisor, manager, assistant manager. At one point, I was being groomed for DM. I was 22 years old, being groomed for district management of a huge a chain of pet stores. And I realized that, I did not enjoy working for other people at all. I don't respect authority at all, Kim. Does that surprise you?
No, that doesn't surprise me. But something though, Scott, in your defense, and and I've known you a very short amount of time, you're not disrespectful though when it comes around to things like that. So in your defense, I mean, you're very well versed and groomed how you present yourself, and you're very direct. And this is the show for Scott today. And let me see if I can take my my heart, the feelings, and I'll put this into words and describe you really quickly. Is you're very open. You know who you are. You know what you want. And hey, and I'm going to use your words. As you put it, you allow others to go down their lane.
Well, that's just it. You stay in your lane. And that's one of the things that I've noticed in the business world, especially, is that like I attack behaviors. There are behaviors I despise out there.
Yes.
But I don't attack people. I will not go and badmouth a person. I will badmouth a behavior.
Yeah.
And I feel because then I can generalize and I'm safe. But truth be told, like I don't like trash talking people, but I will trash talk what they're doing.
Yes.
And so it's one of those things where if in these businesses and while I was being groomed into these positions, I noticed that there was bureaucracy that didn't need to be there. There was all kinds of red tape and office politics that just chased me away. But mostly every manager or boss I've ever had were the exceptions to their own rules. They would set rules and not follow them. And I'm the kind of guy where if a rule is pointless, I'll break it immediately right in front of your face.
Oh my God, corporate America, corporate world, hello, set rules and they don't even follow them themselves. I mean,
right?
Shit, come on. Yeah.
And that's how I knew corporate wasn't for me, right? Is because like I literally had a boss one day, very recently actually. They brought in the gold star system so that if we did well, we got a gold sticker on piece of paper. And that's a bunch of suits and ties trying to motivate their front line. Mm-hmm. And so I got a text from my boss that said, "Oh my God, you actually got a gold star this week. Good for you." And I texted back, "Don't get too excited. I mooned the cameras yesterday at 12:30." And she lost it on me. And I was sitting there just laughing because I just don't respect authority and I don't respect being disrespected, right? And so it's one of those things where I let people stay in their lane because I expect that kind of respect back. And I don't get in people's faces unless they're being disruptive. So fast forward a little bit, I decided to drop out of corporate and start motivational speaking in schools, telling young people about the mistakes that I had made early on and trying to tell them that, their attitude and their perspectives and perceptions of everything matter. And that the difference between a self-starter and someone who is not easily motivated, sometimes it's intrinsic, sometimes it is someone who is hungry because they just have that mentality about them. They call it the entrepreneurial personality, but I feel like motivation is something that anyone can grasp as long as they've got the right attitude and the right perspective. You can go back and read books and completely rewire your brain because I did it. I wasn't
Yep.
always like this. I
Yep.
always had a business mind, and I always knew I wanted more out of my life, but I didn't know how to do it until I trained myself into it. So I decided to fast track, get on stages, and tell schools this stuff. But I had a foot tall mohawk. I had skinny jeans. Like I'm going to say it. Is there a lot of vulgarity allowed on this show, or is this the wrong show?
Oh, shit. Wait, I've already been cursing. You haven't heard me.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'm going to let loose a bit. Like, I had pants so tight you could read my nuts like Braille. Okay. Like, they were that bad. I was a guitarist in a band. I had a foot tall mohawk, skinny jeans, combat boots, and I would get on these stages, and the kids loved it. And the principals and teachers were terrified of me because I would send them this speech, 6 pages long, and it was all this fluffy, duffy, this is what I think, anti-bullying, blah, 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 all this fluffy stuff. And yes, I am anti-bullying, and yes, I do believe in all the good things, but students don't buy into that crap. Mm-hmm. So what I would do is I would get on stage and I would hold the speech up and I would say, this is the speech your principal wants me to tell you. And I would crumple it up and I would throw it behind me. And I started every speech like this. And I would say, I'm not going to do that. And then I would let my mohawk fly and I would just tell these kids, this is where you're screwing up. This is where the education system is failing you. These are the things you're not learning that you need to take responsibility for on your own, because no one will teach you these things until they're important to you. And so I stopped getting jobs in the motivational speaking world. I couldn't monetize anymore because suddenly I was attacking the system that was supposed to hire me. The students adored it, but the school system, which is, again, a system, and systems, when they're flawed, boy, are they flawed. Yeah. The school system broke me. Yeah. And along comes a gentleman named Mark Mawhinney, who I respect and adore so much. Yes. Yeah. And he decided to mentor me in business. And he told me, you need a podcast, boy. You need a stage. And if they're not going to give one to you, make your own.
So how did you meet Mark? Because I met you through Mark. So go back a little bit. How did you meet Mark? All through social media, or?
No.
I know you all are up there in Canada.
Yeah. No, what happened was when Mark came into my life, it was weird. You know how I said I started motivational speaking? Well, I needed someone to teach me how to do that. So I went on Google and I typed in motivational speakers in New Brunswick to see if I could link up with someone who could show me the ropes. I don't know why I did it. It was just inspired action. I said, you know what? I need someone to teach me this stuff. Mm-hmm. Mark Mawhinney's name came up, and it turns out he was in the real estate game. He wasn't even a motivational speaker, but I sent him an email, and he got back to me within the hour saying, Scott, I am not a motivational speaker, but I'm sitting at my son's hockey game right beside a very successful one. Let me give you his number. Yep. And he gave me the number to a guy named Mark Black. And Mark Black got in touch with me religiously every week for 2 years, teaching me the ropes. And I couldn't afford to pay the guy squat. And he taught me the ropes. But he had a very, like I said, he had a very unique challenge in that I wasn't willing to change my message to get hired in schools. So Mark Black and I fought an uphill battle for a while. And then we decided that it wasn't going to work unless something changed. And the system wasn't about to change. And my message wasn't about to change. Yep. So we had to split ways. Now enter Mark Mawhinney. He's in personal development. He's coaching coaches, and he's killing it 2.5 years later. Right. And he goes, listen, I'm now in a situation where I can help you. Let's do it. And so he taught me how to podcast. And then he realized that I was awesome at it. And then he decided he didn't want to teach podcasting anymore. And he gave me that whole section of his business. Yep. Yeah.
Which is awesome. Though, Scott, you are, like going back to Mark Black, I mean, you didn't have diddly squat to pay him and things like that, but you're a priceless client. You really are a priceless client. And I'm not saying all of us as coaches or whatever C word you want to use for the flavor of the day, because I don't like using the word coach, but, for lack of better words and time here, and there are plenty of other C words.
I can think of one short one.
Yes, that's where my head was going. But anyways,
see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday, indeed. Gosh, maybe we need to move this show back to Tuesday and call it "See You Next Tuesday." Anyways, woo,
love it.
But Scott, you're hungry, you're thirsty, you're coachable, excuse all these puns and these expressions. You're thirsty, you want to grow, you want to learn. There's a lot of people out there that aren't like that. I mean, I am old enough to be your mom. I can learn so much from you, and I'm assuming vice versa too. And I think Mark, and also Mark Black as well as Mark McWhinney, saw that in you. So you just needed that. Did you ever read the book The Alchemist?
Yes.
Okay, that's you. That young kid, that heap shooter who just kept needing those oomph, those pushes along the way of his journey to get to the pyramids, and that's basically. I'm speaking for those two Marks.
Yeah.
That's what they saw in you. Did you ever finish high school? Oh Scott. Do you have any idea how much you and I have in common? We have so much in common. I'm multiple years old, but we have a lot in common. Did you ever finish high school?
I finished with honors.
Awesome. Congratulations.
I did drop out of business school, though.
That's quite okay, because I finished high school with honors 6 years ago. It'll be next month, 6 years ago. I'm 56, so do the math.
Yeah, wow. Finishing high school at 50 years old. That's sweet, though. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
It's better late than never on the congrats, I guess, but I didn't know you in time to congratulate you then. So
thank you. Cap and gown. Boy, that was a better high than all the drugs I did back when I was in high school.
Let me tell you, man, the drugs that I did over the last few years have not amounted to the last 3 weeks of successes I've had. I am on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah. You're stoned on excuse me for here's another lack of better words, on that authentic high, your true, your true transparent self, that authentic high, which is so cool. I mean, it comes through. I've only known you a couple of weeks. I feel like I've known you for a long time. It comes through, like there's no tomorrow, but that's because it's natural. You're in your zone.
Well, that's just it. The people I meet, the friends I make, the business colleagues I make, the girls I date, my mom, my family, they all know that I am incapable of being anything else but myself, because it bugs me when people are fake. It drives me crazy. But the problem with that is 90% of the time, people are so used to getting thrown into fake situations that they don't trust me right away because they think it's too good to be true. And I'm okay with that, because guess what? I win in the end, because I don't change. I don't change over time. I'm still me. I'm still living the same character. And so if people have walls built, they eventually break, because I do not change. And that's the biggest thing. Okay, I evolve. I build on who I am. But my character does not change.
The Berlin Wall came down. So can we just fuck all the other walls? All right. I mean, come on, bring them down. So, and that, boy, that's a whole other thing of behaviors we can be talking about, is that facade and that fakeness, which one of the platforms that you and I communicate on, Facebook, it's all these fake facade Facebook. Don't get me wrong, I love Facebook, but it can allow a lot of the fakeness and the facades and people to really plop it on down.
Can I share something with you that happened on my own show?
What happened?
I had a gentleman, and don't get me wrong, I do love this guy. He's funny. He's a lot of fun. And I don't know why he said what he said. Maybe he truly believes this stuff. But he told me that I had an asymmetrical smile, and that is a sign of contempt. It's read throughout the world as a sign of contempt. And I believe that to be true. However, my face, like my teeth, are bad. I've got one side of my face that is clearly masculine and one side that is clearly feminine. I'm sure when I'm 50, I'm gonna look like Sylvester Stallone. Okay, like if you actually look at videos and study this stuff, you'll see what side of my face is so much smaller than the other. But he basically told me that I have to train myself out of this smile for people to trust me. And I immediately said, yeah, but I think my smile's sexy.
All right. Okay, wait a minute. So my head is just going a mile a minute.
Yeah, you have to train yourself out of who you are to be someone people will trust.
Yes, Scott. You do have to train yourself out of that. So guess what we're going to do today to help you train yourself out of it? We're going to go over to Nordstrom's, Neiman Marcus in the couture department. We're going to buy you a new smile. And then we're going to go up the road and go down the bar, and we're going to drink Coronas with double limes or one lime or no limes to train the. I mean, come on. Please. It is so messed up.
Well, I can't say I agreed, but I didn't really like I said, I don't target people, I target behaviors. So
Yes.
in my opinion, someone who has to train you out of something, they got to train you out of maybe bad habits that are self-destructive. Like
Yes.
I'll be the first to say it's not enough to train yourself out of bad habits.
Yes.
You have to install good ones too. But something as small as a smile, if someone doesn't trust me because of my smile, they're really missing out, man. They're really missing out on a really good person. And I don't care. You know, it doesn't bother me. They can go elsewhere. It doesn't bother me at all. But I've got an intuition and a bullshit meter that, mind you, it's steered me wrong in the past because I let my heart get in the way. But in business, I keep it pretty clear cut. If someone rubs me the wrong way, I just move on. I don't try to pinpoint, is it their smile? Is it what they said to me? No, I just go, this person's giving me a bad vibe. Off I go. I encourage people to do the same thing with me because I am not for everyone.
No, you're right. You're right. You are not for everyone. Oh, nor am I. You know, I mean, we're not meant to be for everyone.
No.
That becomes the jack of all trades and mastering pretty much of nothing.
Exactly.
I mean, there's enough people walking out there on this planet Earth. That's why I don't get into that word competition. Oh, there's another C word, Scott.
There's another C word. We're gonna drop some today.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's that, I don't get into that competition. It's more collaboration and it's all come together and, what can we all do? Let me tell you something, Scott. And again, I'll sing your praises. On my show today it's what can we all do? You and Anthony are really leading a nice podcasting group in there. I'm watching. It's another Facebook group. So of course, not everybody comes to the forefront. That's life. I mean, people are seeing the comments. They may not comment. There might not be, that interaction, but I see a lot of interaction and there's a camaraderie. Ooh, another C word in there. And that Facebook, in that Facebook group. So I'm going to switch this around here. Let's talk about podcasting because you just had your 1 year anniversary.
My 1 year anniversary of podcasting. We hit 400 members in the Podcast Discovery Center today, and we only started it a couple of months ago.
I know.
And I literally tried to take a weekend off, and I had this rough, tough cream puff whom I love very much. And the reason why I call him a rough, tough cream puff is this guy's a beast. He lifts weights. He rides Harleys. He's an ex-military vet. And he actually told me over the weekend that he missed me and he wanted me to do a video because he was missing his daily dose of Doucet. Shout out to you, Chris Ripka.
Oh my God, what's Chris? I have not talked to Chris yet. I've only, I could just tell by his demeanor and stuff. I cannot wait to connect with him.
He's a beast. He's a beast. But hearing him going, man, you got to stay on point with these videos. I miss you, brother. Where are you at? And I'm like, I'm taking a weekend off, man. Let me take a weekend off. I can't. I love you guys too much. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm going to have such a hard time. People say I got to slow down. And like you mentioned with that whole hungry, thirsty thing, yes, they're cliches or whatever, but the reason why they're cliches is they're so accurate. Yeah. And you're an entrepreneur. You've been in business how long, Kim?
I've owned my own business, my first business, before there was even online business. I'm inching towards 30 years here. It's a fitness business, and it's still alive.
So you have been in business longer than I've been alive. Let's just put perspective on that, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Someone tells you to slow down. Don't you just want to break shit?
Yeah, I do want to break shit, and I know when I need to slow down. I know when I've pushed it way too far, and for me personally, I just don't want to. I think it's a little condescending when someone says, it's like, okay, you're really pissed off, and you're in the midst of an argument with a girlfriend or a husband or something, and they turn around, they go, "Calm down." Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking kill you if you tell me to calm down. Oh my God, you just fueled the fire.
Well,
Come
that's
on.
it.
You know
That's
what I'm
it.
saying?
Like you don't tell a hungry person. Let's say someone is starving to death on side of something to eat. Okay, they're starving. You don't tell them, "Oh, you should just fill up."
Yeah, exactly.
You do not tell an entrepreneur to slow down. You don't. You let them decide when they need to. And so it's one of those things where, I'm in this group and people are demanding my time and they want my time and all that. And literally the only time I ever turn my phone off is when I'm on a date with this one girl. That is it. That's the only time, or when I'm with my mom. That is it. There's 3 ladies in my life, my mom, my sister, and this girl, and they're the only times ever that my phone goes off and I ignore business. This weekend I tried. I even told people, I was like, listen, I'm sorry. I got kids in the house. My buddy's kids are coming over. I am ignoring all of you and like playing video games and racing cars and wrestling and cooking like breakfast and eating cereal and watching cartoons. That's my weekend. I still couldn't turn it off. You got in touch with me. You got in touch with me, and I was like, lady, here's all the advice I can give you in 50 seconds. Off we go.
Really. And by the way, I'm the weekend off, and I'm sitting there going, you didn't have to answer me today. You could have waited till Monday morning as I knew you were taking it off. And I'm like, psych, got ya. Okay, anyways. But, I get it. You know something? It's, Scott, I'm going to tell you, it's your personality. It's your brand. I really get into branding, and and people just say, "Oh, I got a great logo, and look at my colors, and this is my brand." Okay, that's not brand. Brand, yep,
Fuck
exactly.
Your logo.
The brand.
You are not your logo.
No, the brand is, it's the aura that we're giving out. It's the energy, and you give out this big, huge heart, and you are intelligent, and you're very young. You haven't been on planet Earth for a while. You're 27 years old. You're
20. I'll be 28 next month. Turning 28 in May.
All right, we're going to do some celebrating in our group there, but you're still young. That's young. 27, almost 28 years on Earth here. That's young. There's a demeanor about you. There's a gift about you. There's a aura, energetic, whatever word you want to slap onto it about you, and that's why people they want to be around you. I mean, they want to be around you, but I agree with you. Those 3 women that you're around, that phone goes off. Listen, no one's going to freaking die around here if Scott doesn't return the message.
And if any of these ladies are listening, I love you more than business itself. And that's got to say a lot. Like, seriously, because business is my one true love. Well, aside of from food. So yeah, you said you wanted to talk podcasting, and I kind of went on an aside. What do you want to know, Kim? What would you like to know about podcasting?
Yeah, what's going on in the podcasting world? Because first of all, I have high regards and high respect for you, and because you and I have had numerous amount of conversations about live radio versus podcasting behind the scenes. And you know what I like? You just came to Lynn and I last week and said, "Hey, we need to do this." And here I have this awesome dude, Scott, who's a podcaster, and then you're approaching 2 women that are live show hosts. We are radio hosts, and we turn our shows into podcasting. And it's like, I don't get tripped up over that. There's a way that all 3 of us can come together to, this is my analogy, caramelize the media industry via hosting. We are all show hosts. Doesn't matter if you're a podcaster or not. So we're show hosts. Bottom line, we're show hosts. So how did you? Okay, I knew you did it. I know you did it because Mark said, look, you got to get your message out. This is the biggest freaking way we can get our messages out is through our voice, the God-given gift. We come through the birth canal. What's the first thing a baby does? This is a gift that we have. So tell me about podcasting. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And you're like really rocking the podcasting.
Yeah, I took the world by storm, and I kind of laugh because, there are a lot of cool podcasters out there, but the first time I walked into the podcast world, I ended up with a group of I felt like they were the pen salesmen of podcasting. Like they were all they were all uptight, rehearsed, wearing their suits, talking nasally. Like they didn't have it. Whatever it was, I didn't see it there. And I realized that it was all recycled information. It was all people not being themselves. It was all just horrible, horrible stuff. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these guys are having a lot of success because they're giving generic information and stuff everyone wants to hear. But to me, in order to do well, you have to be an interesting person. And the only person I know how to be and do it well is myself. And I am tattooed. I am lewd. I am crude. I'm the kind of guy you do not bring home to meet your parents. Even though I'm a sweetheart, they will hate me from day one. They will. And it'll take them probably 5 years to warm up to the fact that, okay, he's not going anywhere and he's actually himself. And, oh, well, we really misjudged him. But guess what? They didn't. They didn't misjudge me. They looked at who I was, made a judgment call based on how I look, and that is fine. But that's not the whole thing, right? So I get into this group and I'm like, listen, I'm self-conscious about how I look. I got bad teeth. I'm tattooed from neck to knuckles. And do you really think in a room full of $100,000 and up earners, I fit in? Hell no. But would I rock that room? Fuck yeah. I would walk in there and I would shake every man's hand, kiss every lady on the cheek, and make sure every single person in that room knew who I was before I left, and made sure each and every one of them either loved me or hated me, and I would not care. Wouldn't care. I'd go home with a couple of connections and I'd be happy, and that's kind of the way I decided to rock the podcasting world. So now when I take on clients, because that's something I do, I take the guesswork out of podcasting for people. People come to me and they're like, I'd like to start a show, but I don't want to beat my head against a wall trying to figure out what kind of content, how do I launch, how do I monetize, how do I help them through that. I start day one. What's your idea? Is it viable? Here's some input, all the way to let's launch this sucker and get you up into the charts and make sure this show is a long-term show and you don't pod fade. But my biggest thing that I tell people is if you're going to host from a place within you. Don't look at someone else and model them. You're not going to last. You can't do that. You have to be you. And that was kind of a conversation you and I had when you said, I'm bored to death with my show. And I said, that's because you're not being yourself.
Yep.
You
know something, Scott, I mean, and that's so true is, so many people are, it's that white picket fence syndrome. They go on Facebook, they look, oh, that person is making six figures. Well, I'm going to tell you, first of all, and again, on Facebook now, did you know that you can learn to earn to learn to earn six figures in 90 days? I want everybody that is listening on my show today, that's a fucking joke. And
it's a lie.
It's a lie. Listen, I've done it in corporate. I've done it in my businesses. Let me tell you, six figures doesn't buy me. It does. It's just a number. It's money. And by the way, business owners, you don't get the six figures. The company, I mean, there's just so much convolution around it. Okay, now the next thing is, and I think you and I were talking about this last week, is do you know that you can now hire a coach and they will teach you how to be authentic in your business? Oh my God, let me fall off my chair here in my studio. Now that's another joke.
Yeah, authenticity. That, you know what? That word pisses me off right now because it's going around the internet like crazy. You could become authentic in 60 days. I'll teach you how to be authentic in a month. You know what authenticity is? It's ripping yourself down to your bare fucking soul. Yep. It's saying, I love chocolate chip cookies. I actually hate coconut. I love when a girl looks at me this way. I hate when a girl looks at me that way. I love when my mom, does this. I can't stand it when my mom does that. It's figuring out who you are as a person, every last bit of it, doing a lot of fucking soul searching, and then living it. Don't put up with crap that you don't like because you think it's good for your business. Don't go run in circles that are not for you because you think it'll be good for your business. The second you do something from a place that is not for the benefit of you, you are being inauthentic. That's the bottom line. And quite frankly, and I'm sorry, this is kind of I'm ripping into a tangent here. People who are fucking authentic don't have to fucking say so. They just are. Yes, they just are.
Hi, Scott. Can you please reach through cybers? I'm going to shake your hand. Hi, my name's Kim Boudreaux Smith. I'm authentic, and the other thing I'm spiritual. Who says they got to say this shit? Oh my God!
Well, hey,
I'll
tell you right now, I am a spiritual man.
Yes, yeah.
I'm, growing up, I was Catholic by convenience. We went to church. We went to church when there was a wedding, a funeral, or we really screwed up. Yeah. To be honest with you, though, I don't necessarily call it God. I'll say it right now. But I do believe in spirituality. I do believe that when you are down to nothing, God is up to something. A client told me that the other day. And I do have a very spiritually centered heart. I do everything from a place of principle, from a place of character. My personality, who gives a fuck? Personality is fake. Personality is a mask. It's all about living from your character and your being. And, I hate to say it as a buzzword, but being authentically you has nothing to do with the mask you put on at the end of the day.
That's true. And Scott, I agree with you 500%. My point was, again, with the authenticity, why does people do, when people start talking about religion around me, I just let me say, go right ahead. But let me get something real clear here. I'm not a religious person. I believe in God because I was raised Catholic, but I'm spiritual and I don't speak God on the air. I speak universe, the universal delivery on. So I'm with you on that one. I just, God, you and I can, we're going to stay tuned, from worship. And by the way, I'm going to say this live on the air. I am launching, no one knows this yet, so let's just make the announcement. I am launching a second show here in May. And it's going to be just down and dirty with Kim B. Smith, and Scott's going to come back on, by the way. And in fact, I'm going to ask Scott to launch the show with me and be my first guest to do the honors of that. But guess what, Scott? And I can't announce this on the air. I'll tell you off the air. But there's you and there's a couple other guys in the podcast group. I'm going to ask you all to wrap the year up with me, and we're going to do a very masculine show. And boy, have I got a topic! And I am
the wrong guy for a masculine show.
No. You wait. You got to hear me out. That's all I can say live on the air because I don't want to give it all away. And I was running it by my husband over the weekend, and he just shakes his head, and looks at me, and goes, "Only you think of stuff like this." And I said, "Oh, come on! This shit's swept underneath the carpet. Come on, let's bring it out." But I'll explain it to you later. But I'm going to have you come back on. You're going to be my first guest if you'll do the honors, and we're going to launch the show, and we're just going to really cut loose. But let's come back around to podcasters. I want everyone to understand here that Scott's the guy to go to if you want to launch a podcast, and if you want to launch a live radio show. Lynn and I are the peeps to come through. What Lynn and I are experiencing all last year, the frustration is, and Scott, I'm sure you see this, is these people, and I've had this conversation with Mark McWaney as well. These people launch shows or they launch podcasts here today, shiny new penny, flashy penny, and then 30, 40, 30, 90 days later, they're gone, they quit. And it's like, let's not do this if you're not going to make it stick. And I get, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
They're a marathon. They're not a sprint. And the thing is that people who start podcasts for the wrong reasons, they're the ones who fade. People with a message who want to communicate the message, they want to get to know other people who share similar bonds and experiences. They want to learn from others who have had completely different bonds and experiences. Those are the people who last. But the people who start podcasting to make a ton of money, joke's on you guys. There's not a lot of money in podcasting yet. The podcast itself won't generate a ton of money unless you're very creative, very stubborn, and willing to gun hard as hell for what you want. If you want easy money, podcasting ain't it. However, the business surrounding podcasting is unreal. And not to mention, if you've got a business, like let's say, perfect example, my latest client, he is a fitness guy. He knows fitness like the back of his hand. He started a fitness podcast, not so that the podcast could make him a ton of money, but so that he could talk fitness with all kinds of other fitness experts and entrepreneurs. Why? Because that lends him credibility for his fitness business, and he's going to find clients because of it. But it also gives all of these other guys a platform to speak from, to educate people, which is what we're all craving right now. We need a platform to educate people from.
That's the monetization, by the way, Scott. That's the monetization of a podcast or a radio show because, Lynn and I get that. People want to know when their return on their investment is going to show up 90 days into this or, that's the ROI. That's the monetization. It's far greater than just this tip of our nose, like a teenager of monetization. I want to make money and can I make a lot of money? And I want to make tons of money on my podcast or my radio show. Okay, well, if you're John Lee Dumas, who started this back in the early onset days of podcasting, some of these other people that are, like you said, are working it really, really, really hard, it can happen. But, now we're in an industry where it's getting pretty saturated. And so
every industry is saturated.
Every industry, yeah. And so that's why you need someone who is brilliant, like Scott, to help you pull together the content so you can leverage yourself. And I always tell all our hosts, leverage yourself as the expert that you are. Do some self-promotions and then showcase your guests. But the guests need to complement the platform.
Yeah, but I will say this. It's not like I appreciate the compliment. I love being called brilliant. Tell me I'm pretty again, Kim. But I do love the compliments. But I'll tell you right now, I cannot polish a turd. if you're getting into podcasting for the wrong
You're right.
reasons,
You're right.
if you're,
You're right.
you'll fail anyway, with or without
Yes.
my help. And that's why I always do a 30-minute free call to see if you're full of shit or if
Yep.
you're the real deal. And if you're the real deal, I will jump in and tell you. But if you're fake, that 30-minute call is nothing but a rude slap in the face saying you'll never make it in this industry unless you change your attitude.
Yep.
Because anyone who's looking to make a quick buck is in the wrong industry. I know guys like my boy Cody Boyce. He's making
Yes.
money here. He's making money here. But guess what? He's a producer and he's got a business and he had to scale his business to start making money. Myself, I'm making money doing this. My mentor, Mark Mowini's making money doing this. But guess what? We've been at it a while and we had to find clever ways to monetize. We didn't just say, hey, we want sponsorship, because guess what? So does everybody. It's no
Yes.
different than being a little kid on a skateboard and sending sponsor me videos into these companies. They're not going to take you unless you're something special. You hone your craft. You become amazing at it. They see that you're long term. No one's going to sponsor a show in 90 days for real money. You know, they got to see that you got lasting power. They got to see that you're something special, or they got to really fucking love you. We got sponsored right early out the gate. We started cashing our first checks 4 weeks in, but that's only because people we loved believed in us. They
Yep.
loved us back, and they loved us enough to throw money at us.
Yep.
And
you're
that's
right.
the thing. You've got it. It's
the
all about
relationship.
relationships.
It's the
Thank you.
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the relationships. And you know something? First of all, this is a marathon. This is a journey. This is
Yeah.
not a get rich quick. Because if it's first of all, I'm not quite sure what anything is a get rich quick anymore. Multi-level marketing, you've still got to build relationships. That takes time. I mean, there's no get rich quick theme around here. And you're
Man,
right.
drug dealers don't even get rich quick.
I know they got to build relationships with those damn kids. No, I'm just kidding. But it's true. It's so true because you know I don't understand, and I hear it, Scott, and I'm sure you hear it too. We hear this. How do we make money at this? It's like, well, wait a minute. How many clients have you brought in from your podcast, from your show?
Well, some of these people don't even have. Some of these people don't even have businesses that their show supports. So they're literally just trying to make money off the content on its own, which I will say right now can be done.
Yes.
It can be done. I've done it. I've done it a few different ways now, through sponsorships, through affiliate marketing, through something called Patreon. Mind you, my Patreon is pathetically small because I just started it, but I'm actually learning from guys who I taught how to podcast and
Yes.
how to get into the charts. They're teaching me how to Patreon. Like, it's a relationship. It's give and take. But the thing is, if you're looking to make money just on your show, be prepared to be scraping pennies for a little while, guys. It does not blow up overnight. It takes time and creativity and stellar fucking content. You need content so amazing that people can't get it anywhere else, because if they can, they will.
I'm just laughing here listening to you because my brain is going a mile a minute. You know, that's the same thing with our businesses, though, Scott.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And you better have some money for staying power to invest. And if you don't have money, people, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to go out there and be the local coffee barista at Starbucks. Because I'm going to tell you something. While you're behind the counters making the coffee and you turn around and hand that coffee to that customer, start networking.
You want me to share something with you that is like the most embarrassing thing ever, but I'm going to share it anyway?
Go ahead.
I quit my job March the 1st, and I was awesome. I was all geared up, and I was ready to be self-employed. My girlfriend broke up with me on March the 14th. I had to find a new place to live, buy a refrigerator, fill a new house with food. I've spent every last dime I had saved. Mm-hmm. Okay? I am literally 2 weeks away from having my phone cut off, and that is my lifeblood. But guess what? People are investing in me. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I have no money is because I'll say it right over the air. I spent the last 3 years abusing my money, doing drugs, drinking, blowing my money on, someone else's habits and habits that I weren't even my own habits. Because now that I'm on my own 3 weeks, I'm actually completely clean. Go figure. But I blew all my money. I blew all my money on someone I thought I truly, truly loved. And I did at the time. But looking back on it, I didn't love myself enough. And that's a whole other conversation we can get into. But the reason why people are paying into me is they love me. It's not what I'm selling. There are podcast coaches X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, F, G. You can go any letter has a podcast coach for the name. They love me. They love what I deliver. They love who I am, how I do it, how organized I am, the fact that I get results, and that I'm a blast the entire time. Yep. That's why people are buying my products. That's why people are paying into my services. That's why people are approaching me and going, oh, shit, man, you ain't got any money to invest? Here, I'll build you a website. You can pay me later. Here, I'll build you an online course. You can pay me later. Here, I want to partner up with you on joint ventures. We'll make a bunch of money, and you can use that to pay all the other bills. That's what people are doing for me right now. They are investing in me because they know I'm not fucking going anywhere.
Right. And you will pay that forward too, which
oh my God, we do it every day in the PDC. Seriously, that's like a 16-hour coaching day for me on the Podcast Discovery Center. You know, I get in there and I spill my heart out on a daily video every day, and then the comments flood in all day every day, and I tell people just live. Right there, live. I'm plugged into my phone all day. And when a comment rolls through that someone tags me in, I answer their questions, or I tell them to give me a call if it's not something I want to answer over the air. Yeah, absolutely.
So Scott, here's the deal. We 45 minutes. We've been on the air 45 minutes. See, I told you how fast this goes.
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten to my questions that I want.
All right. Rapid fire them. Let's do it.
Okay, there's no thinking about this. Rapid fire. But before we rapid fire, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
You can catch me on Facebook, Scott Doucet. I'm getting a landing page set up as we speak. I put in the effort this morning. It'll be scottpodcastcoach.com. You can get me there. You can email me at edgemotivation@live.ca. But honestly, guys, if you really want my attention, get me on Facebook because I'm always there.
Yep. Reach out to Scott on Facebook. He does. He manages that really well, and he's there. So reach out. Okay. What we measure determines our success. How do you measure success? Quick.
Happiness, man. If I wake up every day and I love what I do, success.
I love it. Okay. Tell me your largest challenge that you've, to date, have turned into an opportunity.
Learning to love myself for what I am. And I did recently, and man, do I ever love myself.
Ooh, frickin' who, Scott, man. Woo-hoo. I mean, that is awesome. Let me tell you something. My interviewing career is complete with that right there. I'm done. It's complete. That's awesome.
Now I don't get to get all dirty with you.
You're going to get
another
dirty.
Show.
We're going to get dirty. No, but seriously, I mean, that's amazing. That is amazing. Okay. One last thing here. Have you ever felt like giving up?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. But there's something in me that won't let me. For a while, there's 3 times last year I almost completely gave up. And the girl the woman I was dating had a daughter, and I just looked at her and I realized that, if I give up, what is that going to fucking tell her?
Yeah.
And so now she's no longer in my life completely, but I still hold that. Everyone underneath me, I've got 400 podcasters who look to me for support, for advice, for motivation, for inspiration. If I give up, I'm letting 400 people plus myself, plus my parents, plus everyone in my life down.
Yep.
I can't do it. I've got to succeed. I've got no fucking choice.
Well, it's just not in your DNA, pal.
No, it ain't. Failure's not an option for me. In anything.
Nope.
In anything.
Yep. I owe you a big, huge thank you. Let's really acknowledge Mark McWhinney for introducing Lynn and I to you. It's like I said, I feel like I've known you forever, and just in adding us to your group, and you're very supportive. You are, you head check me once in a while when I'm, instant messaging you, questioning about something, and you're like, whoop, bring me right back on around, and you don't even do it. You just here, this is me. And it's like, yep, check, hey, I got a question.
I'm the nicest little dick you'll ever meet. Like,
that's very true, everybody. You heard it live. And, it's just, just the content in that group and the support. And I love the antics that goes on between a few of us. It's a blast. Your post over the weekend about adults, I'm like, I'm a Toys R Us kid. Shit, you want me to be an adult? Oh, we're in trouble. We're in huge. It's fun. It's fun.
My kingdom is your kingdom. If you're going to go in there and respect the rules and be an adult and treat people with respect and just follow the guidelines, and there's only 6 of them, it's not that hard. But if you're going to follow those 6 guidelines, then my kingdom is your kingdom. Enjoy it and leverage it the same way I do.
Exactly. And it's the relationships. So that means now when we get off the air here, Scott, you're going to have to go in your group and you're going to have to back my ass up because I did go in there. We are live. Come and listen. And I know that goes against the rules. You're going to have to back my ass up on that one.
I'm just happy you keep saying back your ass up.
Okay, we're out of control and I'm loving this, but we're out of time too.
Yeah. Well, there'll be another show.
Oh, there's going to be plenty of more shows. Thank you. Hey, Scott, thanks for stepping in today. I really appreciate it.
It's truly my pleasure. Hopefully people can get some nuggets throughout all the controversy.
And in the other show, there will be nothing but controversy. And so there will be nuggets or not. Who knows?
Who knows?
Is what it is. Yeah. If you would do me a favor, just sit tight. Let me wrap up the show and my producer and I will swing back around to you. So hang on, Scott.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thanks so much. Thanks again, Scott. Hey, everybody, reach out. Get to know Scott on Facebook. That's the easiest way to hunt him down. He's an amazing young man. You heard him. He's going to be 28. He's just an amazing guy. I'm one of his fans. So reach out to him. Get to know him. Again, thank you for joining us. Another live chat with Kim. Stay tuned. Yes, I let the cat out of the bag. Kim's launching another show. Won't be until May. We're going to have a lot of rip-roaring, down and dirty fun with that one. And I think the new title, Scott, you're listening, Down and Dirty with Kim B. Smith. Well, there you go. What more do we need for that? Scott's been behind the scenes playing with some of that.
I just love that it's Kim B. Smith, Kim B.S.
Oh, yeah.
Old stories, bullshit,
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, that's right. The Kim BS. Down and Dirty with Kim BS. Now there you go. See, I love all this masterminding. So, oh my God. Okay, let's stay tuned next week for another live chats with Kim. And also, don't forget to tune in, boldradiostation.com. We got a lot of amazing hosts. Reach out to Scott. He's got a lot of amazing podcasters. There's so much out there to really help you through personal development, professional development, fucked up development, unfucking development, whatever you need. We're really trashing it today, Scott. Oh, gosh. What a great show. So tune in. Well, I'll hear you right back here. Same place, same time next week. Make it a freaking awesome day. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining yet another Real Life Chats with Kim. Come on back next week, same place and time, where the boldest of bolds share their truths.